Hey, everybody, welcome to edition 58 of Enjoying Orange Slices with Jeff and Ian. This week, we talk about one of our favorite Canadian bands, Trooper. We grew up with them. Little quick chat on them and some of the other music up there. We talk about some different teams in the league. We actually get Columbus in there this week, which I'm really happy about. And then we talk about a bunch of other stuff. We wanted to go 25. I think it ended up around 45, so I'm going to apologize now, but enjoy.
Hello, Jeff. Dressed up Sharples. How are you?
I'm good.
Got a collar shirt on.
Yeah, I know, and no glasses this week. So, as one of our favorite brands back in the day, Trooper said, "I'm just a 3 dressed up as a 9, only wasting my time."
That's awesome. You pulled some Trooper out. That was good.
I got Trooper. Yeah, I mean, for those that don't know who Trooper is, go look it up. 3 dressed up as a 9. I love it.
And it's the best chirp ever too. You can take any. You're just a 3 dressed up as a 9. I've taken.
I love it.
Oh, it's just a good one. Take a lot of people's hearts away from with that one.
I love it. And I think that was that big maybe, and I guess in the 70s. But you know what? Just like all great Canadian rock bands, just lives on, right? And,
yeah.
I'm dressed up, but you know what? And I want to give you a compliment. You're wearing my favorite T-shirt that you have. Is that the Cleveland? Yeah.
Cleveland minor in hockey.
I should have put mine on today because I love that shirt. Cleveland minor in hockey since what, 1929? Is that it?
Since 1929, and it stops people in its tracks. They're either from Cleveland or they're hockey fans or they don't get it and they just want to talk to you about it. So it's good.
Hey, Cleveland's a great city too, so we don't want to bag on them. But this is Ian Baggs' podcast.
Ian's bag. That's what it is. I love that you brought up Trooper though. That's awesome, and the fact that it just plays on and on in Canada. When I was in Israel, they had a whole channel dedicated to the 80s, and it seemed like it was on TV, and it was one of the major channels in the hotel room, and I could hear that music everywhere in the hotel. And people are still living in the 80s. They don't care. And when you go to Canada, you will hear Kim Mitchell at least once a day.
Oh yeah,
100%. Might as well go for a soda. You got to go for a soda. Everybody's got to go for a soda. Nobody hurts, nobody cries. And then, and then you will hear Trooper like once a week. And then what's the other Canadian band that they always play? They'll play a Bryan Adams. They'll play a Bryan.
Oh, but I love Bryan Adams. I got him on my music on my phone when I get on the Stairmaster, going back in time, my 1996 Stairmaster. Just sweating to the oldies. I love Bryan Adams. I talked about him before, like how much I'd love to see him. He comes to Vegas once in a while,
right?
But I always miss him. Hey, but if we're going to talk about other bands, we got Loverboy, Mike Reno. Met him many years ago. Good guy. I saw them. A friend of ours, he went all out for his 50th a few years ago. He brought Loverboy in for his birthday party. He played in an airplane hangar in Boise. Rob. Yeah.
Somebody's doing way better than I am. I'll tell you that. If you can afford it. Somebody's doing better than Loverboy and better than me. They can purchase Loverboy for their birthday party.
I love it. April Wine is another one, right? We got to get them in the rush. But hey, doesn't Kim Mitchell, didn't he sing Patio Lanterns too?
Yes, he sang Patio Lantern.
Oh man. And
down.
How about the other day I'm driving along and I'm kind of spoiled. I like the Sirius XM so I can listen to all the hockey. And then I got 80s on 8. I got the Garth channel, Prime Country, Highway, and Y2 Country. I know, very exciting. But I was listening the other day, and who came on but Chilliwack?
No way.
Remember them? Yeah, Chilliwack was on.
So long. I wonder if they're ever going to be. Yeah. This is a music podcast now. We started out as talking. We just talked about 80s music from Canada with Jeff and Ian.
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh, I know. Well, we got dressed up. Hey, mama just don't get dressed up for nothing, right? So let's go. No.
Speaking of good music, St. Louis still has an organ player. They got a guy that's like, and he's awesome. I follow him on the old TikTok, and he puts out videos. It's pretty awesome. I think he might play at soccer or something. He plays someplace else, one of their other sports. Oh, baseball. That's what he does. He plays at the baseball stadium as well. But he's awesome. He's just like this little guy, and he's big old organ, and he plays like ACDC and stuff like that. It's pretty good. I love it. Not many rinks have that anymore, right?
No, I don't think too many. I'm sure Montreal still does, but it's funny because I watched St. Louis last night, and I just felt like it was just watching them. Especially at home, I feel like it's such a throwback, and
In what way? What do
they
you mean?
have just a throwback to like years gone by. Like you got the organ in there, and it just takes you back, right?
Mm,
Back when they all used to have them, and one of the greatest uh, hockey rinks ever, the Chicago Stadium. They basically built the arena around the organ,
right.
and that thing was incredible. They used to have back in junior days, WHL behind me here. When I played in Portland, we had an organ at the Coliseum.
Really?
So yeah, and the first time I played in Portland, I was with Kelowna with the Wings, and they had Cam Neely and all these guys, and they were running us out of the building. But every time they hit you, the guy go, he'd do something with the organ. It was like distracting us. We not only could we not get out of the way or get the puck, we were distracted by the organ. So, but then when I started playing in Portland, I loved it. So, anyways, yeah, it's kind of a throwback to the old days.
That reminds me of the good old joke. What's better than roses on your piano? Tulips on your organ.
Oh my God. Where'd you pull that one from?
That's an old one. I wrote that.
That's awesome. You took me back to 16 years old right there.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
I felt like I was sneaking it in during science class too. Hey, Chen Wing, tulips on your organ.
Well, the Bunsen burner is on.
Oh,
Okay.
man, we talk about global warming, but honestly, science class back in the 80s warmed that globe up quite a bit. Just Bunsen burners just flying with the heat. Did you I kind of know the answer to this, but did you watch the big game from Hamilton, Ontario?
The big game that no one really knew about outside of I watched it, and I gotta say, those Buffalo uniforms, I've always loved the Buffalo uniforms.
Oh, that logo's awesome.
That's the best uniform. I love it. And yesterday's uniform they used for that game, beautiful. Buffalo's kind of getting their act together. They got a little bit of a buzz going there. Jack Eichel came through town, kind of lit a fire under the team and the fan base. And maybe Buffalo's on its way back. I don't know, but they kind of bootlicked Toronto, kind of looked lethargic and kind of out of it yesterday.
They look unsure. Everything's kind of, well, should we do this? Should we not do this? Even when they're fighting. And I don't know, that penalty. Well, he didn't even get a penalty for it, did he? Matthews, did he even get a penalty for that?
Yeah,
Cross
but he got suspended today. So
2 games.
Yeah,
that
2
can't
games.
help anything out.
No, because you know what's funny? Back in the day, that was after you took one of those in the side of the neck after every scrum in front of the net. Like that was a good play back in the day. They're like, yeah, way to clean the front of the net out. But now they're like, oh my goodness. But it kind of shows you, we were talking about McKinnon and his frustration last week, a week before, Matthews. And I look at Toronto and I look at Vegas similar. Oh, did I freeze? Okay. I look at Toronto and Vegas, and I know our friend in San Jose. We know who you are over there, carving us it up, Mr. Jim White. We know that Toronto is under so much pressure. They look fatigued to me. Vegas looks fatigued to me because obviously they have a lot of injuries, but Vegas has had a lot of hockey, basically played around the clock the last couple of years with this whole COVID thing and a lot of drama. And Toronto looks fatigued to me, and I'm not sure at this time of year, with 20 games left, how you put Humpty Dumpty back together when those pieces start falling off. And Toronto's going to be really interesting to watch because there's so much there. But then, you know what? It's like, just chip away at that team, and the press is, on them all the time. It's their goaltending, or it's this or it's that. Austin Matthews took he was a frustrated player, and I think a little bit fatigued. And I'm not sure how you breathe life back into that with 20 games left, but I'm sure Toronto will try to get a player. I'm not sure a player is going to make a difference at this point, but if they can, Vegas is similar. They look tired to me right now.
Mm-hmm.
They got a little bit of time to get it together. Toronto's in a better spot than Vegas is, but they just look fatigued to me watching them recently. And that penalty that suspension that came down on Matthews now, I don't know. Maybe that might help them. It'll put some pressure on the rest of their lineup to step up because he's their guy. He's their goal scorer. What's he got? 40 some goals now.
Right. So they've been relying on him way too much and not relying on themselves. So maybe this helps them get back to where they've got to do the work because they're not doing the work. So if there's nobody scoring on those goals, it's almost like Connor McDavid sometimes when they just watch him play.
Yep.
And I think that's going on in Toronto. But at the same time, I think Toronto needs to rebuild all their defensemen, need to ship 6 guys out and bring six out of 8 out and bring 6 back in. I suggested this the other day when talking to a friend. I think they start with Brett Burns there and try to build around him on defense. What do you think? Yeah.
Oh, I love watching them, but their problem, they're already giving up enough grade A chances.
I think he'll still give up the chances, but the grade A chances that they have, there's nobody around. When I watch it in San Jose and he's making those mistakes, you still see that big long stick trying to get in there.
Well, what he's going to bring is a little bit of lightheartedness, but Burnsy's Burnsy, right? Like right. This guy is he's a hell of a player. He plays the way he plays, and maybe a little bit looser kind of atmosphere might really help in Toronto. They think, oh, we need more grit, we need more this or that. Maybe they just need someone to come in and help them have fun again a little bit more. And Burnsy's definitely that guy. He can log a ton of minutes for you. Put him with a responsible defensive defenseman. Mm-hmm. Like Burnsy and Muzzin together would be really impressive. Maybe even Morgan Riley. But, you see these guys come out of the lineup, and Matthews is going to come out. It'd be kind of fun to see Burns in a Toronto Maple Leaf uniform. We'll see how they respond. But here's another team that lost their top dog last night, or just last week, or one of them was Colorado. Landeskog.
You getting some win there?
3-0 last night. Now, am I roboting again?
Yep.
Okay. So Colorado beat Calgary 3-0 last night. In fairness to Calgary, it was 5 games in 7 nights.
I was going to say some of these teams are they're logging a lot of games in a couple of days, and there's going to be some losses there. So I don't know if you can judge that Calgary Avalanche game last night.
No, I mean, and you know what? A tough week for Calgary. They went 3-1-1. I mean, this team, look out. I think we talked about it a few weeks ago, but they have 12 guys that have played every game of the year for them. Mm-hmm. Vegas, in contrast, and I'm not saying Vegas would be where Calgary is. I think they'd be better than where they are right now with a healthy lineup, and they'd be at 95 million on the cap too. But Calgary has dictated play all year, and they've been able to stay healthy. And their goaltending's been lights out. So 3-1-1 is a bad week for them.
Somehow they've been able to get Luch into the game. Like he was a guy that was just, you were basically playing with 4 players when he was on the ice before, but somehow he's kind of, I don't know what Daryl's done with him, but he's kind of got him into the game. So he's creating some sort of havoc in there.
Well, one of the things that Daryl said is they wanted good guys in Calgary. And I think from everybody that's ever played with Lucic, I've never heard anything but good things about him off the ice. This guy was a perennial power forward 10 years ago right in this league, right? Mm-hmm. Well, he's still a power forward. He's got an extra spring in his step this year. He's still fighting all the young, tough guys. He's still one of the toughest guys, if not the toughest guy in the league.
He's
this guy. Yeah, he's just a massive guy. And he's got a little bit of help with good Branson and Zadorov there. And so, but what they've done is they've kind of played with a chip on their shoulder, but with discipline. One of the things with Calgary was before, they didn't always play with a lot of discipline. Under Daryl, you play the way Daryl wants you to play, you're out of there. And they all bought in. because I think they're sick of having mediocre results. So, if you switch and go to the East, you see the same kind of impact from Gallant, Spuddy, our buddy Spuddy, with the Rangers. The Rangers, Chris Kreider, what's he got? Almost 40 goals now. Zibanejad, Shesterkin's playing out of his mind. Trouba, Fox. So you know what?
Zibanejad good. That's what he is.
Yeah, he's awesome. So you have a similar situation with a coach that is. I mean, I think Gallant's a little bit looser on the reins and say Daryl does it the way Daryl does it, but Gallant is having all kinds of success in New York by just letting these guys up off the mat and enjoying the game a bit. And New York's another team that's just totally impressed me. And they haven't had to play as many games recently as, say, a team like the Flames or even the Jets have had to. I mean, some of these teams they're going to be pretty tired by the end of this month. There's no question.
Jets are going to be, by the end of this month, might not be in the playoffs anymore. I don't think are pretty close to being out of the running to be.
I don't know about that, Lord Beck.
Really?
Yeah. Let's talk about that. Okay. Let's talk about third in the Pacific, and then we can talk about third and 2 wild cards, third in the Central and 2 wild cards.
Okay.
I don't think there's any question that Calgary is in a class of its own in the Pacific, and LA. Todd McLellan. We haven't talked a lot about LA, but Todd McLellan has done an unbelievable job in LA, and their young guys are coming on. And like I said, one of my favorite players in the league, love Kopitar. Doughty's back being him, what he does. He's hurt right now, but they got Arvidsson, Athanasiou. These guys are really helping drive the bus in LA. And I think those last 2 guys I talked about are probably injured right now, but I don't know if anyone catches LA. So that means third place in the Pacific's up for grabs. I don't think anybody catches St. Louis, and no one's catching Colorado in the Central. So that's third place up for grabs there. And in this kind of off ramp of teams that are trying to figure out what they have, you're going to find you're going to Minnesota, you've got Dallas, you've got Nashville. One of those 3 teams
sort of struggling right now.
Yeah, they are. But one of them's going to get Winnipeg's the other one in Central. One of those guys is going to get. We'll have to get on the map and show everybody. But one of those teams is going to get third.
In Hamilton.
Oh, Hamilton. We didn't even get to that in the last one.
We'll come back to it. I'm sorry. We're going for third. We're going for third place.
Okay, so let's just look at it. We got a third spot available in the Central and the Pacific. Okay, and then you got 2 wild card spots. Well, there's nobody really making a statement for those spots. Like Edmonton's gotten better recently, and Vancouver's, since Boudreau's got there, has made a really nice turnaround. Vegas is not great right now. Anaheim's in and out, and San Jose, but all those teams have a shot still to get in. And then if you go over to the Central, you have Winnipeg, Mini, Dallas, and Nashville. And Winnipeg, I was just looking, they play Vegas tomorrow night. If they beat Vegas tomorrow night, they're within 2 points of Vegas for the final wild card spot. So out of all of this mediocrity that these teams have gone through, and that those teams in specific, they've had good and they've had some not so good, it's going to be an absolute horse race to the finish. And one of these teams that they're going to end up playing in the first round is going to be head and shoulders favored over them. But these guys are going to play playoff hockey for the next 20 games to get in. So it's going to be really interesting to see. There's no race in the East. The race is out West. And it's going to be really interesting to see what's going to happen out West.
It's a very interesting race out West. And it just seems like everybody's playing themselves at the same time. They have to beat them. They have to be on their same team as themselves, because Vancouver lost to themselves yesterday against Tampa. Winnipeg seems to take themselves down a lot. Dallas seems to get going and then take the tires off the bus and just sit on the side of the road every so often for some unknown reason. Nobody's really grasping it and running with it in the West.
Yeah, it's really hard to pinpoint why that is. I mean, if you look, San Jose's in kind of a restructuring. Anaheim's ahead of schedule on what they got with those young guys. Okay. Then you got Edmonton with the two superstars up there. They always expect so much out of those guys. They're kind of scuffling, and then Vegas, no one expected to see them in this position. Ton of injuries and just have not found it. I mean, Vegas's special team, specifically power play, and their home record has cost them. You go to the East, Minnesota, since the New Year's, not been great. Dallas is hit and miss. Winnipeg's hit and miss, and Nashville, is been okay, like better than I thought they would be.
They got
It's
better.
a real, yeah. But any one of those teams that we just talked about could get in, and when they're going to have to play some pretty extraordinary hockey to get in to get these points in tight games, whereas Colorado, most likely St. Louis, and definitely Calgary are going to be able to cruise a bit more. And that's not to say that their games aren't going to be competitive too, but these other teams are playing for their lives.
Right.
So it's going to be really interesting to see how this goes in the next couple weeks. And of course, the trade deadline is what, next Monday?
I was going to say it's the 20th, right? Is it 20th?
Yeah, it's the 20th or 21st.
Today is the 13th, so yeah, it would be next Monday.
I thought it was the 14th.
Probably.
Yeah. All right. Well,
no,
okay.
My dad's birthday was on Saturday. Yeah, so you're right.
Yeah.
Gary turned 82. Gary turned 82 and told me to.
Gary turned 82 and told Robin, "Do not take me to the roundabout."
He said, "We can go for dinner, but there might not be a roundabout involved." That's what he said.
I don't know if people realize how we've talked about this before, but how confusing the roundabout is for a lot of long-time Terrace where we grew up, folks. We have what do we have? One roundabout in Terrace now, or do we have a couple? We got one, right?
We got one roundabout that used to be the major four-way stop coming into town, and now it's a roundabout, and people have lost their minds. What the hell's going on? People that moved away come back and blow right through the roundabout, right over top of the middle. But now apparently the locals love it now. They think, oh, we should have done this a long time ago, even though they were snapping while it was being built.
Yeah, well, they've had them in Europe and down under forever, right? So we're getting there. We're getting there in North America. But yeah, happy birthday, Gary. I know you're an ardent follower of Enjoying Orange Slices with Jeff and Ian.
He listens to this and rolls his eyes and says, "Who's good as you're doing?"
He's going to the A&W for some coffee right now. He can't take it anymore. He doesn't want to listen to us. But hey,
play the young guys. That's what my dad always says. Play the young guys. Play the young guys. That was his movie.
Hey, talking about playing guys, how about even being able to watch the guys play? Let's just talk for a second about the Nashville Tampa game and Buffalo and Toronto.
Okay.
And by a show of hands out there, who even knew that these teams were playing? Like, I had friends down here that I used to. They didn't even know. And like yesterday, one of my buddies goes, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm watching Toronto and Buffalo." He's like, what they're playing right now? I said, "Yeah, they're playing outside in Hamilton." He goes, "What?" Outdoor game, no idea. And I don't know. I just kind of feel like
it's to me. It's I don't like coming down on the league, but to me, I don't understand if you're going to make these jewels of your year, why you don't make them jewels of your year, make them very shiny. Like I would have put that. I get why Buffalo and Toronto was in Hamilton. It's halfway between the two cities, but I don't think I would have picked Hamilton to show off something that you're selling to America. So you're selling an outdoor game that's in the snow, that's in the cold, right? That game couldn't have been any more gray when you looked at that place. It just looked like you're watching it on black and white and everybody was just getting out of prison and going to the car. That's what it looked like. So, but I would have probably went out east or something like that and put in a town that you couldn't find. And we can do that because we've seen them do last year in Tahoe. So we know it doesn't have to be in a football stadium. We can do it anywhere, right? So why wouldn't you do it anywhere?
Well, and don't you think a more intimate setting in this situation, and we're talking about Tahoe, when Vegas and Colorado played last year, they had to shut it down because they had the ice and they had a few, but that's Mother Nature. That's part of being, we all had issues where it got too warm to skate some days on the ice or whatever it was, or it was too windy or this or that. So there is some risk. But what do you think about this? Like the Winter Classic is like you put that on your calendar and you're like, okay, we know New Year's Day. This is the granddaddy of them all for the NHL. I get that. But if you want to, like you say, if you want to shine it up, then give that game
Yeah.
its own runway. Like let that thing have as much of its, you know what? We're shutting this runway down today. We're only going to have this game on it. We're going to, and if you want to play a game before it to kind of like, prime the pump, that's fine. But there should be no other games or very few games on that day and nothing at the same time. And you know what? You market it as a big event. And so it's a huge event for the players because they all love playing outside, right? I mean, yeah, it was a little cold.
You think it would have been on some sort of giveaway on some sort of soda or coffee or something like that? I just yesterday, last week I seen the jerseys that Toronto was going to wear and I didn't really understand them, but I didn't hate them. And then yesterday I turned on the game and it's from Hamilton and I didn't know it was from Hamilton. And I sent it from Hamilton, like it was confusing. And the disappointing was you had Gretzky there. Gretzky was so good on the panel there. He was on the whole game. He was funny. He had stories. My favorite part was when they brought up some stats and he didn't know. Oh, I didn't know that. He's all proud of himself. But it was kind of about him and his dad, right? That game. So maybe put that game in Brampton, or it's Brampton or Brantford that he's from.
I think it's Brampton, but what you're trying to do is you've got the biggest star ever in the game of hockey, which is Wayne Gretzky. He's there. You've got a foundational moment where you're trying to build the foundation of your league and grow it out. TNT's there for the American side.
They're so good too, by the way. TNT just keeps getting better every week.
Yeah, and that's because they don't take themselves too seriously. You have Hockey Night Canada there, the CBC. They're there. Everybody's there. So we have the ability to get nationally in Canada and the US and whoever wants to watch around the world, a ton of people. But yet we just kind of morph it in. Oh, we got to get these other games going. So it's on. Vegas starts with Columbus yesterday at 4, Colorado and Calgary at 5. And I know that game's just coming to an end. But I'm telling you what, you just clear everything for that game. And you go, hey, boys, here we go. We're going all out. And you give the networks an opportunity to really work it. I know we're running behind on games because of the COVID and the rest of it.
And don't do it. Don't do it this year.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I agree with you 100%.
I think it should be someplace intimate, outdoors, but you give away all the tickets because everybody's, we're going to lose money on the tickets. I guarantee if you give away those tickets, the next 10 years, if you do it someplace beautiful, you're selling the game of hockey, you're making all that money. Plus you're advertising the game, you're advertising what it's from, you're advertising a special jersey. You're going to make all that money back. But as we are in society now, we're instant gratification. So if you can't get the money instantly, they don't want to do it.
Right.
So,
and
wow, Ian, good speech.
Look at you go. You should mic drop right now. Just mic drop that thing.
just turn it off and boom.
Hey, I got a question for you. Did you ever walk on the stage at the Comedy and Magic Club? Were you ever there the night they had one of the earthquakes in LA? And did you ever walk on the stage with the mic and the earthquake happened and you said, well, I can't top that, and mic drop it and walk off? Is that you?
No, I was at the Laugh Factory and I was waiting to go on, and the guy in front of me was on stage, and when it happened, and then I went on and I said, I was just like, I can't believe I ran out of the building. The whole crowd stayed inside. Like they'd paid their $25. They weren't leaving. They're going to die inside. I was like, I had to come back and make my 35 afterwards. I just like, I wanted to do 12 minutes instead of 15 that night. I know it's an old building too. You're just like, this one's tumbling to the ground for sure.
I know, with all that concrete on the top of the car, it's just like, hey, you got to get moving. But oh well, yeah, that was
I can't follow Mother Earth.
No, that's pretty tough. But
so what did you think? I thought Gretzky was great. Just I think, you know what that was kind of like? That was kind of a touch of the Peyton Manning cast.
Yeah, the Manning. Yeah, I agree.
the way they did that. And I thought, oh, this is really good. Why don't you have old like hockey players come on? Like, it'd be great to have Messi just sit on a game and just discuss things, and pick
Yeah.
things.
Tell some stories and then let them call a goal. But yeah, the Manning cast was huge. I don't know what's going to happen next year with Troy Aikman and Joe Bucko on a Monday Night Football with that, because the telecast was good, but was good before. But now you're bringing two of the top guys in the game in. I don't know what happens with Manning's. In a playoff game and maybe some of these other games, you maybe don't you don't have that. But with Gretz, one of the things that's happened is he's evolved with the TNT show. And because TNT is trying to entertain and taking themselves light, it's really helped Gretz kind of find his footing and just kind of relax and do his thing.
He's absolutely relaxed. He's so relaxed.
People want to hear what he has to say. People want to hear his stories. I don't know about you, but I don't really care if Gretz breaks down an X and O or how something happened. You know what? This guy's brilliant.
I don't think he can. I think it just happened for him naturally. So I don't think he can break down an X and O. Even Carrie Ann wanted to watch the game a little bit because Gretzky was on there, and then she said, "This is Wayne Gretzky Canadian?" And then I just turned off the TV and walked out of the house.
Hey, you closed the front door with the lock.
Yeah.
Did you press the lock, the keypad on it and lock yourself out of the house?
Oh, that's the noise it made right there. Oh, so stupid.
That's one of my favorites. I know we talked about that a week ago, but oh my goodness. You and me and Home Depot, and then you putting that thing on there. Actually, we should do one of these from Home Depot, because I walk into Home Depot, I'm like looking maybe a rake or something, or a shovel. That's what Ian's actually looking for, stuff to repair. It's impressive.
We should do it from Costco. We should do one from Costco, because you love Costco so much. We just walk around, talk about wine prices, and then get a big thing of almonds and walk out.
Then go sit in the 40-minute gas line so we could save 10, 15 cents off a gallon of gas.
I love it.
It's insane.
It's great. It's just like, it's very impressive. Yeah, and I like the way the barrels of oil have gone under 100 yet. Price of gas is still over $5. I just like, what a scam! What a scam it is.
Hey, what's the? Okay, what do you want to wrap it up?
You bring it up.
Hey, what's the price? What's the gallon of gas in LA right now?
I paid $5.39 at Costco yesterday.
Okay, so I was down at State Line. I went golfing on Saturday with my old partner, Gordy Mark, the man with two first names. Gordy Mark, great guy from Irma, Alberta.
Oh my God.
They used to call him 240 Gordy and his brother 210 Len. Len, and so both Gordy and Lenny both played for Kamloops in the Western Hockey League, and then Gordy got drafted and played in New Jersey, and so I hadn't seen him in a while. So we went golfing.
Was he just in town? Or is he living?
No, he lives here. I just haven't seen him in a while.
It's kind of
so we went down. Yeah, he should have called me more. I know. That's what I told him. But $6.50 for a gallon of gas on State Line. California, Nevada State Line on I-15. In Vegas, it's like $4.89 a gallon, I think, or $4.59 or something. But it's insane. So, anyways,
somebody was bitching about $7.65 in Beverly Hills yesterday. I'm like, if you're concerned about $7.65 and you're living in Beverly Hills, you got bigger problems. Yeah,
that's right.
You don't want to give a shit. I don't think you've ever filled up your car and known what was in it. So yeah. Nobody's taking that 79 Datsun 210 down there filling it up.
No kidding. Yeah, in Beverly Hills, I don't think the price really makes a difference, right?
No.
Shouldn't worry about that. So
you just got to ignore it. I seen a guy pull in yesterday into he had the big Dodge 3500, and he was pulling probably a 30-foot boat with him. I'm like, there goes $1,500.
You know what the best part about that is? He's got about probably $250,000 to $300,000 in boat and truck.
Yeah.
And then he's going to put another $1,000 or $2,000 right there. Like, I mean, that used to be a house. Now, the way everything's gone is crazy. But you see some of these guys rolling in. They're rolling in with $250,000, $300,000 with a truck and boat into the launch. plus, like you say, $1,000 or $1,500 to fill it now.
Yeah.
That's a full day.
Yeah. It's a full day. I don't know how you take a day off when you're going to put that much gas into something. You should be working.
No kidding.
Big games coming up this week that we should be paying attention to.
Yeah, I think there's a couple out there, but the one for sure that you want to kind of
we're still on it. We're still on it. Yeah, I'm sure there is. Is there any games?
I'm sure. I'm trying to think of one. I got one. Yeah. Hey, check your local listings.
I don't know. Find out yourself, you dicks.
We're just here to talk about it. We're not going to steer you to it. There is one game to look out for, and that is tomorrow night, which we did this actually it's on a Monday this week, but it's a Tuesday game. Our good friend Flats and the Winnipeg Jets playing the Vegas Golden Knights. Both teams have had, they're in Winnipeg tomorrow night.
Ooh.
Both teams have had kind of middling, kind of mediocrity so far this season. They've had their moments, but there's been kind of just average by their standards. So there's a game to watch tomorrow night.
What do you think Lowry's done with that team? Do you think he's done okay, or do you think they still need to make another change?
I think he's done a phenomenal job, because here's what happened in Winnipeg. Paul Maurice, and we talked about Paul before, but this guy is just an exceptional coach, but he's such a deep thinker. There's really no stone left unturned with him. He had his fingerprints all over that organization and that team. Mm-hmm. Dave Lowry was coaching in the Western Hockey League. He came up to take over when Paul decided that he just had enough around Christmas. So Dave's boy, Adam, plays for the team. So now here's Dave just in an assistant coaching position, watching one of the better coaches to ever coach in the league. I think Paul Maurice is in that category, whether you think he is or not. And, he's there to learn. And Dave's in his mid-50s now. He's been around the game a long time, but have some fun, maybe spend a little bit of time with his son, right, that he hasn't been able to. And then all of a sudden, boom, he's the head coach. And the expectation in Winnipeg is always playoffs, and they've got some really good players there, so he's done a great job, I think, with them. They haven't maybe got the results. They haven't maybe had their star players play like they need them to every night, but they're still in the mix. And I still think Winnipeg's a very dangerous team, and it's kind of a tribute to him and Flats and Charlie Huddy that they've been able to keep that team's head above water. What does
Pierre-Luc Dubois' dad do there? Because he's a coach there too, right?
Yeah, I thought he was a coach with the with the Manitoba Moose. So I think Dubois' dad is a coach with the American League team.
Let's go over to Columbus. Line is he's on a tear. He's been scoring all over the place. Is he trying? And I'm going to ask this question about two players right now. Is he got a contract coming up, or is he playing to get out of there?
I don't know. It's just good to see him kind of finding that.
And when he's
what I watched. What's that?
When he's having fun, like he's kind of got a little bit of a pout. He's a pouter, right? So when he's not having fun, when he's not playing well, he pouts. You could just roll your eyes.
Well, no, I've never found a goal scorer that was fun to be around when they weren't scoring. I mean, these guys have a knack for being able to put the puck in the net that the rest of the guys in the league don't. And in the case of Laine, and I give this coach in Columbus a lot of credit, because they're still on the outside looking in at a playoff spot. I don't think they get there, but he's done a really good job there, because, it was kind of scorched earth after Torts left Columbus, right? So this guy's come in, he's done a good job. Laine, it took some time to get him kind of turned around and kind of settle the noise down. He's done a great job. And a young kid, Sillinger, I think his dad was Mike Sillinger, scored 3 yesterday. So there's a little bit of hockey lineage there, where his dad played in the league. I think it's the same Sillinger. Yeah. So he got 3 yesterday.
So do you think he's playing to be there, or do you think he's playing to not get out of there?
You want me to answer your question?
Yeah. I do.
I know.
I just said what's on the right side of the plane, and you told me what was on the left side.
I know. I just went I just decided I was going to talk about something else. You know what? That's a good question. I think he's probably trying to get himself back to an elite level of scoring goals in the NHL, which he has. He definitely looks like he's picked up a step. He looked very quick last night, a lot of confidence.
A
So I
lot of
think he's
confidence.
playing. I think he's playing for his contract, but he's also playing for some redemption. I think he's a pretty proud guy, and I think if that redemption tour continues in Cleveland or in Columbus with them paying him a good buck, I think he'll stick around. I don't think he's necessarily as much looking to maybe go somewhere else as he is looking to get his career back on track.
To me, he seems like I think you're kind of right. To me, if he's in North America, he's in North America. He doesn't care where he
Yeah,
is. You know what I mean?
yeah.
That's the feel I get from him. Where on the other hand, here's the same question in Vancouver Canucks, JT Miller. I think he's playing to get out of there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of Vancouver Canucks fans think he's just playing to be there, but no, he asked for it. It's known that he's asked for a trade last summer. He is an American that wants to play in America. If I can suggest anything, Ryan Kessler, the exact same thing happened with Ryan Kessler there. And
Mm-hmm.
I think he's playing to get out of there. And I hope Vancouver makes the correct choice and gets some goods for him because they're going to lose him either way.
Well, here's a guy that's, you know what? He's frustrating to watch at times,
Yeah.
but boy, is he good.
He's really
And
good.
you know what? He,
Selfish.
I don't know what word to put on him, but I'll put frustrating on him at times. But what he's done this year, along with Patrick Demko, is he's basically put the team offensively on his back.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? They haven't played center a lot, which sometimes defensively I'm like, oh, it's not the greatest. But they haven't played center a lot. He takes a lot of draws. He plays a ton of important minutes. And he's helped keep that team afloat. And he's one of the big reasons why they made the comeback they did. And maybe it's as simple as playing for Bruce Boudreau, and he's really having a good time. He doesn't strike me as a guy that's in love with being in Vancouver long term. And if they can get a haul for him, I'm sure they'll move him at the deadline. But I mean, from where they were to where they are in the playoff picture now, and they have the best goalie, I think, or one of them in the league. Anything could happen. I'm just not sure Vancouver is a team that's going to go very far if they can get in, but it doesn't really matter. They were left on the side of the road to just kind of wither away at the start of the year, and they're right in the thick of things. And for them to make the playoffs, I think JT Miller has to be a big part of it. So there's a decision to be made in Vancouver in the next week.
And Rutherford still needs to put his fingerprint on that team. Speaking of JT Miller, his stick handling is fantastic. And this is a secret. Not many people know. He owned a Super Deker. Super Deker is a hockey training system that lets you take your stick handling from Ian Bag level all the way to Jeff Sharple's level. If you want to get involved in the Super Deker, use the code SLICES. Get yourself a Super Deker. Not only is it for children, it's for if you're in the beer league and you want to start making sure that you start slinging that puck around and putting it in the top shelf where mama keeps the bread. I'll tell you what, you get one of these Super Dekers. And not only that, you have a couple beers, get some friends over, start gambling on who can get the best points. You're going to have the best time. Super Deker, not to be confused with Super Decker. Superdeker.com. Proud sponsor of the round, whatever this podcast is called. I can't do it right ever. Super Deker, proud sponsors of Enjoying Orange Slices with Jeff and Ian. Boom. Back to you, Jeff.
That was really smooth.
Yeah, really smooth.
That was good. I don't know. I mean, I can't really top that. But want to do shout outs, or you want to finish with something else?
Halak in Vancouver.
Okay, I just gave you 5 to 7 minutes on Vancouver. You want me to go there now?
I'm just gonna say,
I'm not doing it.
That was Benning's last view to Vancouver. That's what that was, signing Halak and with no trade. Oh God, no movements in his contract.
Mm-hmm.
So bad. Oh, just so bad. Anyways, anybody want Halak? He's available. Do you think Vegas needs to trade for a goalie? Is what's his face way more hurt than they're letting on? And your eyes are closed. You froze. You back? You might have disappeared for a second there. I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
There you are.
I'm here.
Yeah, there you're back.
Okay, I'm back. Okay.
Did you get my question?
And yeah, I did. And just before I forget,
Yeah.
you know, I ate lunch at our favorite German restaurant today.
The Unterglevens?
You knew that.
I thought about a couple weeks ago. I thought about our favorite restaurant as that container ship in the Atlantic was sinking with 1,500 Porsches on it. You know what I was thinking about? I was thinking about that guy that said, "I'll be back. I'll be back."
Bad was that?
I'm like, "Oh, you're not coming back for a while, bud." My bank just sent me a message.
No. Okay. Let me. I'll finish on this one. Goaltending in Vegas. I'm not sure. Leonard has got two issues now: upper body, lower body. So Brossois, general soreness. Brossois is.
That's what I'm going to call myself. General soreness reporting for duty.
General soreness. Hey, so years ago, I'll tell this story really quick because it just came into my mind. So we had Gary Lehman, 50-goal scorer in the for the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's down in Utah with this. He's a good guy, right? He'd done this thing, so he was just playing it out, and he couldn't go. So we had Butch Goring as our coach. So Butchie was all mad at him. So in the injury report, leaving out cause of injury, general soreness. I'm like, way to show respect to a guy that scored 50 in the show, Butchie. That's Butchie though. Here's what I say about Brossois. He's had a really good year here, by the way. So I call Flats and I said, Flats, our boy Flats up in Winnipeg. His two boys are going to play tomorrow night. And if Hellebuck and Brossois play, I say, Flats, Brossois is your business card. You need him to play well. And he is playing well. And I said, we need him to keep playing well because Flats becomes a free agent, I believe, at the end of this year, unless him and Chevy got a deal worked out again. But I'm like, between Hellebuck and the Vezina Trophy winner from 2 years ago and Brossois, these are Flats's, our buddy. These are,
of course,
you're his latest two guys that the rest of the league's gonna. I froze up. These are. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
I'm back. Okay, so
you're doing a sales pitch. You're doing a sales pitch for Wade. So
I am, but I'm just saying, Brossois and Hellebuck are Flats's. Those are his two students, and so if you love Flats, and I told Flats about a month and a half ago when Brossois started playing all these games, I'm like, he's your business card. We need him to stand on his head because Hellebuck's already got the track record. Brossois is really good. He's not a young goalie anymore. He's in his mid to late 20s, but Flats worked with both these guys. So
mid 20s.
Goaltending has not been the problem in Vegas. I'll put it that way. And Brossois has played way above, I think, what anyone expected. And I hope he keeps playing that way because it looks good on Flats.
Edmonton should be calling Flats. They should be.
Yeah, there's a lot of teams that should be calling Flats because he's done a hell of a job with those two kids.
Absolutely. They should be knocking on his door. Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
I'm trying to get him to Vegas. I think that'd be great. You know, come on down. Nothing against my buddy Chevy in Winnipeg. I mean, love him, but maybe it's time for a change. I don't know.
I love Winnipeg, but yeah, they're gonna need some changes there. I will still wear my hat and I love it.
Oh yeah. No, we love the Jets. I always like to see them do well, but if you love Flats, cheer for Brossois and Hellebuck. So that's all I got.
Cheer for them. Keep our buddies working. Make sure you download, like, and rate and review and listen to this, let alone just watch it. Make sure I've been hearing about all these people making money on these podcasts. It's about time this one started making some money. I don't know that way.
Hey, but you know what? We're rich with friends. That's what we have. We're rich with friends.
I take the R out. I call it friends. And sorry.
All right.
I'd like to keep this going, but I got general soreness going on. Do you have a shout out this week?
Yes, I do. I have a shout out to the US and the Canadian men's sled hockey teams who played in the finals of the Paralympics last week. And this time, US has kind of had a bit of a run here, I think. US ended up beating Canada in the finals. And so I don't know if you ever watched sled hockey. But these guys go at it, and congrats to both teams again, and to the U.S. for getting the gold. Again, we have just the U.S. and Canada. These two are big time rivals, and so congrats to both those teams. And a shout out if you've never watched any sled hockey. It's fun to watch because it's physical and these guys go for it. So
they're ready. They got some anger and they're letting it out. My shout out this week is to the Minnesota hockey tournament. It's called the Flow Tournament because everybody grows their hair out and whoever has the best hair wins an award. I'm sending a shout out because these guys, it's a high school tournament and they all have full beards. And I'm just like, how many grades did you fail? That's so crazy. I don't know if they got them jacked up on steroids, but maybe one guy should have facial hair, like a little bit. There's guys with full beards on this team, and it's a high school tournament. So shout out to those single fathers playing in the high school tournament. It's crazy. Anyways, that's a shout out.
Yeah. That's getting their moms to drop them off so they can play. Still living at home.
Driving their mom to the rink and then telling her to drive home.
That's awesome.
Okay. I think Godfrey was the only one with a beard on here when we grew up.
Doug was the only guy that was shaving. That's for sure. The rest of us, I don't think we could grow a beard. I'm not sure I still could, but
Ravi Chokar had a little bit of fuzz on his chin when we were. No, I didn't start shaving until I was 32, just before Jesus. Anyways, well, that's it for this week, Jeff. Loved all. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. That was a fantastic show that we all enjoyed, especially you guys. We'll see you at the Trooper concert, and we'll go Spaceship Superstar. We'll have a good time with that one. I got a rocker powered solar guitar. I don't know what it is. I don't know how that thing's goes. But anyways, make sure you rate, like, and review. And if you're on Spotify, check out Trooper. Goodbye.